Hey everybody, it's September 22nd. Welcome to the PixelBlips Podcast, and welcome to fall. First day of fall. I am your pumpkin-spiced host, Andy Ryan. Joining me as always is the jack-o'-lantern of all trades, Dave DeWert. Dave, what have you been playing for the last week of summer?
What does a pumpkin-spiced host taste like?
Pumpkin spice. Because I've been having, have you had the pumpkin spice M&Ms?
No.
Dude, they will change your life.
Maybe.
Normally you're like gobbling up an M&Ms, like you only need a handful of these, and it's just like...
Okay.
Like Demeter herself, Demeter would work. Like Demeter herself just magically crafted this M&M, and then Persephone, as she was being tugged into the underground by Hades, was like, no!
Okay.
And you got it from her, and it's just like, oh.
Okay.
Anyway, so between that, pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin spice candles my wife is burning, I'm all for the pumpkin spice. That and cider donuts. I love cider donuts. Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, so what have you been playing this week?
Well, my WoW sub's going to run out. My wife is mad at me for buying a PS2. So, yeah. I've been playing...
She's mad at you spent money?
Because I spent money, and if I have a running WoW sub, I'm not going to play anything else. So if I got all this other crap and I want to buy a PS4 in the next year, I need to not play WoW. Because I know
that's fine.
You know how MMOs get. You just delve into them, and you don't come up for air very often.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's you kind of get in that. We talk about that mathematical loot.
Yeah,
return,
the loot-driven
of like, hey, I put this many hours in. Ooh, I got this nice sword. Hey, I put this many hours. I got this nice sword. And like the stats go up, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's a stataholic's dream for these types of games. So my WoW sub's going to run out sometime in the next 2 weeks. So I've been playing what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just making our audience very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead. What have you been playing?
I played a lot of Rogue Legacy in the last few days. I finally beat the first boss, even though now I'm like level 50-something and I should be into the third wing of the dungeon. Mm-hmm. I've been unlocking all not the new classes, but the other classes. So there's like the Shinobi, which does a ton of damage, but he's like low on life. And then you have the Lich, where every time he kills a dude, he gets life back, or he gets more maximum life, and you can switch it to mana. Mm-hmm. So you can basically, if you build him up right, you can have a guy that has a ton of life and a ton of mana and is really hard to kill. Mm. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. I put like probably 4 or 5 hours into it this week, which is a pretty large chunk of my gaming time from a day-to-day basis. And I've been playing a little bit on my Vita, just messing around with like the free GTA game they gave us, Liberty City Stories.
Liberty City Stories. It's the PSP version of
GTA 3.
GTA 3, and it is out. Well, we'll talk about GTA later.
Yeah. So I've been playing that, and it's kind of fun. I'm just getting back into those.
It's GTA.
Games. Yeah.
Let's go for a joyride.
It's a very GTA game.
Love that song.
Can't hate GTA for being GTA.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's run around, grab a car, run over people on the street because you can, and the cops probably won't get you. At least not initially.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
I've been playing a buttload of Secret of Mana, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I've also been playing Spelunky.
Oh, that's right. You bought the full version.
I bought the full version of Spelunky, and I kept dying, and it kept resetting me to mine 1-1. So I kind of it's kind of like how I treat Load Runner or Spelunker. Like I'm just going to keep playing this randomly generated level, and this is just the game, and I'll have fun. And I go through and I save the girl, and I try to find the statue, and then I get the bonus points at the end. And then someone pointed out to me like, "Hey, that's not how you're supposed to play this game." Like, what do you mean? They're like, "Yeah, you have to go through and like get to the mines, and then you have to get through the mines, and you can start in the caves.
Yeah.
You get through the caves, you can start in like this next level. Like you're supposed to slowly keep going forward instead of just playing the same level over again. It's not like Tetris or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the further down you get, it unlocks new areas for you to run around in.
Yeah, so this next week I'll probably put some time into Spelunky.
And just try to barrel through the first zone. That's kind of how it is with Rogue Legacy is you first start playing and your guy is so weak he dies before he gets out of the first couple of zones. Or when you get there, the monsters are just that much more powerful and they'll one or two shot you. So I like played through the base castle textured area for a long time. And I still run through it, like if I'm playing a Lich, you run through it and you power up your guy before you go into the deep dark area and the other. Because like Spelunky and Rogue Legacy are very similar games in that they're randomly generated, but they do have set areas of the game. So
let's see what else. I've played a lot of Killzone Mercenary, trying to keep my Valor card up. It's fun. Like that multiplayer and the whole Valor card aspect of it is super fun at the end of the match. You know, seeing all the Valor cards lined up that you've collected, and then it goes in. You're supposed to build the deck of 52. 52. And you see them, like, it goes through and it's like, oh, well, these 3 cards you already have in your deck, so they get thrown away, but these 2 cards you get new.
Yeah.
And like today, like my deck's pretty full, but I was getting through, and so they kept throwing out. And then one guy had an ace card that I'd never had before. An ace is the highest card you can get. So I had all 4 ace cards, and it gives you a bonus because you have 4 of a kind, and then like.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's pretty good. It's pretty poisonous, and I'm
so
getting
once you collect the whole deck, do you just become like this super powered soldier, or do you have to pick and choose the perks?
The Valor cards don't do anything.
Okay.
What the Valor cards do is when you pick them up, it gives you a cash bonus.
Oh, okay.
If you get a new one added to your deck, it gives you a cash bonus. If you get 4 of a kind in your deck, it gives you a cash bonus. I'm told that if you get all of a suit, it gives you a cash bonus.
So like hands and poker, you get bonuses based on...
But cash bonuses.
Yeah,
so,
cash bonus. Like, not gameplay bonuses, but it allows you to...
But I'm already sitting on like a huge bank anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It allows you to buy the upgrades or buy the different pieces of your guns.
So for me, like, the money doesn't matter as much as it's just a score. And getting to that next rank, which also doesn't matter anything, except it's just, hey, I'm a captain now.
Yeah. Does it give you a discount on weapons or anything?
No, but there's daily discounts on weapons.
Oh, okay.
So I really like it, and like I said, it's very fun. It keeps me coming back.
So it kind of plays like a free-to-play shooter in the multiplayer aspect, where you play to get money and things like that. You can't dump real money into it, though, right?
And then once you have the money, you use the money to buy stuff. Like I'm now speccing out a 3rd loadout of my guy to be an infiltrator, which is the stalker class. So he has a silent sniper rifle. His vanguard is the cloak vanguard, and but I think I've used him probably twice. Same as my first spec is my normal guy. I like to call the ranger class with a rifle weapon, and his vanguard is the one that lets him see everybody on the map.
Yeah. And
the secondary is a shotgun, so kind of a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
My second class is a total bruiser, like huge. He has the Gatling gun and
big armor,
and slow as hell and loud. And I think I've used him probably twice. I've used my infiltrator probably.
So you
twice.
just use your main guy, and then occasionally, if you need to just take out some guy who's sitting there camping or whatever, you switch to one of the other two.
Yeah, for me, it really is kind of that old arcade of you just want to be on the high scoreboard.
Yeah.
And every time you log in, it tells you what your Valor card is for that day that you've earned. And I've earned an ace before, and now I keep wanting to try and get back to an ace.
Yeah.
So I try to play it every day. But I've also been playing, like we said at the beginning of this, Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 2, Seiken Densetsu 1 being Final Fantasy Adventure for the... Adventure? Yeah, Adventure. For the Game Boy. It's good. It's good as it was on Super Nintendo.
You were playing it on your Wii, right?
I'm playing on my Wii.
So hey, Wii's get use.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those days where it was nice and cool and I had the windows open.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's autumn. Autumn's on its way. Yeah. And I just want to play a game that makes me think of autumn, and somehow JRPGs always make me think of autumn and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of works with me too. Like, you're sitting there, you got your windows open, it's nice, you can kind of hear the outside. It almost makes me want to, drive downtown and just walk around, but then I'd rather just sit and play GTA.
Yeah.
Because, it's the same kind of feel. You can, if you want to, walk around town and not do anything bad. But it's not as much fun. And then that's part of the reason why I've been playing GTA this week, because I've been playing Vice City a little bit on the PS2, and I've been playing the one on the PSP, or the one on the Vita, I guess. So. And then that's kind of what I feel like playing in the fall. I also, I feel like you do. When I want to play some JRPGs, it's usually the fall. So I'll probably wind up working on Dragon Quest that I still haven't.
See, that's what Dragon Quest 8 makes me feel the fall, because there's an area in Dragon Quest 8 where the trees are all orange and red and it's autumn. Same thing with Chrono Trigger. Yeah. Chrono Trigger makes me think of the fall because there's an area where it's autumn looking. And I think it's just kind of like this time of year. It's like I think it's a holdover from when we were in school.
Yeah, because
you're starting out the school year.
Yeah,
you've finished your summer game maybe. For me, it was always I finished my summer game and I always had that extra game that I got for my birthday.
Yeah,
because you said my birthday's at the beginning of summer, late spring, so I'd usually play a JRPG. I usually got 2 of them.
Yeah,
because that's always what I asked for. So I would usually it's time to start the second one now. We're going back to school.
Yeah. And then you've got after school, after work, you get all your schoolwork done or your homework done or whatever. And then it's like it's your free time, so you can sit and play whatever. And I think you're right. It's kind of a holdover from when we were in middle school or in high school, where it's like, all right, I've got a little bit of homework because it's the beginning of the year. They're not packing it on real bad. So you're like, all right, I got a lot of time. Let's do this.
Miss Granby.
Oh, our science teacher from like 7th grade.
This woman.
She's mean. Was mean. I don't know.
Would give you at the beginning of the semester. So once again, you're in 7th grade. She would give you a calendar that had all your assignments and when they were due, and that was all the notification you ever got from her about homework. She would show up as like, who did the assignments for today? And it's like literally, even in college when professors did that, I was like, you are a dick.
Yeah, that was not cool. And that was, for 7th grade, that's a big swing, right?
Yeah.
Because you were given
think about this. Like, compare Miss Granby and Mr. Pettigrew, our social studies teacher, who was literally right next door to her.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. Pettigrew was, at the end of the class, he'd be like, okay, you guys have a little writing assignment. It's due in 2 days.
Yeah.
And he'd remind you the next day. It was really nice and mellow.
Yeah, he was.
Even our math teacher was really relaxed.
I can't remember her name anymore.
No. I can remember her face. She was the young one. She loved Friends, the TV show.
Yes.
Anyway, so got sidetracked. I think maybe part of it, now that we're talking about it, part of the reason we love JRPGs in the fall might be that when we were in middle school and early high school, that's JRPGs was where it was at.
Yeah, because that was
that was like
the end of the Super Nintendo and the beginning of the PS1 when JRPGs kind of hit their mid to late 90s stride.
Yeah, PS1 would have been hitting its stride when we were in 6th grade. Came out in 95.
Yeah.
So we would have been in 5th grade.
I didn't get a PS1 until I think I was probably in 7th or 8th grade.
I didn't get a PS1 until you gave me one.
And you were in high school.
Yeah, but I still played like JRPGs.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, on your Genesis.
On my Genesis. Yeah. I'm a Crusader of Senti, even though it's an action RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And
still
it's
a JRPG.
Extremely hard to find now.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those games where if it was released on the Virtual Console, I would jump on it because I just want to play it again. That's the other good thing that I've been thinking about this week as I've been playing Secret of Mana on my Virtual Console because the Super Nintendo market at the moment for collectors is really inflated, and I'm not going to pay more than what Secret of Mana originally was priced at to play it now.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. We were talking about, I don't know if we talked about that here or whatever, but there's this weird bubble with Nintendo games that hit and it's starting to go away. Now Super Nintendo is on top of that, and Genesis games are kind of hitting that spot too.
If you're starting out as a collector and you want to build a big collection to like a base collection, I would say start with a Nintendo 64 collection now because those games are cheaper and you can start getting them cheaper, and the bubble for when those prices will rise is probably still 2 years off maybe.
Yeah.
So I would say N64 and PlayStation 1. You can get PlayStation 1 games super cheap. Like, fuck,
I think I picked up
I got Tron Bond for $2 now.
Yeah, I got Gran Turismo for like $3 at a place. So it's not like right.
And like
some PS1 games are expensive.
3 or 4 years from now, Gran Turismo 1 will be $10 or $15 game, maybe.
It's not a great sum of money. But
Gran Turismo 2 will be the expensive one because it will come with Gran Turismo, both discs, and if you can find the one that comes with the soundtrack.
Yeah. There are some PS1 games that are going to cost a lot more than they should. Like a boxed Final Fantasy VII probably costs more than it should.
Yeah.
But
I see those for $50 all the time.
Or like the Final Fantasy Origins and Final Fantasy Anthology does. Anything with Final Fantasy in the name probably costs
Origins
a lot.
is probably going to be the one that retains its value the best. Although Square's been reprinting all those for years.
Yeah, they've been putting them on.
Square is still printing Final Fantasy VII. Still making new copies of
the greatest hits version.
Yeah, the greatest
and
hits
you can
version.
get it on the virtual.
It comes on regular CDRs because they no longer make the PlayStation black ones. CDRs.
That's funny.
But so I went to the Virtual Console because when I first got my Wii, I bought just a ton of Virtual Console games. People kept giving me gift cards, and I was like, sweet. So Secret of Mana was on there. So I'm playing Secret of Mana. So then I'm like, oh, this is cool. I remember Virtual Console, and I went through and like what they have on Virtual Console. The prices for it, a lot of the stuff is starting to get to the point where, for instance...
I thought it was tiered off, like Super Nintendo games were all this much,
and
NES games were all this much.
That's true.
Okay.
But for instance, like that was stupid back, in 2007, 2008, because you could get like a copy of Donkey Kong 3 for like $2.
Yeah.
And why would you pay $5 on the Wii Virtual Console when you can't play anything but the Wii? But now it's getting to the point where like we were talking about N64 games. Ogre Battle. Ogre Battle 64, the man of lordly caliber, is starting to get very expensive.
Yeah.
And on the Wii Virtual Console, not only can you find it readily available, you don't have to hunt for it, but it's priced cheaply.
Yeah, so what, I think N64 games are what, like $8 or something like that?
At 10.
8 or 10.
10 maybe.
Because I don't have a Wii, and when I did have a Wii, I never got on the Virtual Console, so I really don't know.
The Virtual Console is pretty much almost everything I've done on my Wii.
Yeah,
I have more games for the Virtual Console for my Wii than I have actual Wii games.
Yeah.
Except I wonder if that might switch over now because I bought that Kirby collection, but I still have like Ys Book 1 and 2, which definitely pick up Ys. The TurboGrafx games are on there are awesome. Which, once again, what are the odds are you going to find a working TurboGrafx CD to play Ys 1 and 2 on?
Very good call.
So we're getting to the spot now where I think Virtual Console is going to become important as Nintendo is kind of leaving it in the dust, the Wii Virtual Console. And I just wish they had sales, because if they had sales, I would have more of a reason to buy stuff in mass.
Yeah, if they say, hey, all of Square's games are or 10% off.
It's like, hey, all Nintendo games buy 2 get 1 free this week. I would have more reason to go buy them instead of just I want to play Donkey Kong 3 at this very moment, and I'm willing to pay you $5 for that privilege.
Yeah.
Also, getting Wii points is weird. I'd rather just put in my credit card and just have it deducted.
Okay, so Nintendo hasn't made that change yet where they've gotten away from the point system?
No, and they're not going to make that change for the Wii. They're not even printing Wii points cards anymore, but you still have to use Wii points to buy stuff on that virtual console. So you have to
buy the points through their store, and then man, that's kind of silly.
Yeah. So
that's one of the things I'm glad is gone with Microsoft. Is
if it came through and they're like, hey, we're shutting the virtual console for the Wii down in like a month, in that month I would buy a bunch of Wii points and just buy out every game that I don't think I'm ever going to realistically find in the wild.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of Neo Geo titles. They have a bunch of rare Sega titles, rare Master System titles, once we were talking about TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
And stuff like, I'm probably never going to find a copy of Mega Man X2 in the wild for $10.
No.
So I'll buy it and play it on there.
Not for that. You won't find a copy. Well, you not for the Super Nintendo.
I have crazy luck, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can get that Mega Man X collection we saw that has all those games, and that was like what, $15 or something for the PS2?
30.
It was $30?
Yeah, the regular Mega Man Anniversary collection for the PS2, which is not the one you should buy. That was 15, and then the Mega Man X was 30.
Oh, well, still, that's not
because
bad.
I was thinking, man, I should get that Mega Man X collection, but I don't have a working PS2.
Oh.
But so that's the one thing. So as we get into fall and all these fall feelings, like I'm going back and I made sure I had Final Fantasy V and Grandia on my Vita, and I'm playing Secret of Mana. I think fall is just maybe a nostalgic time in general.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, and it's just like, man, there's been so much.
Remembering like coming back, going to school.
Well, and you always think, you got Halloween, so you think about when you were little, and Halloween was like, let's go out and get big bags of candy and eat candy until we get sick all over ourselves.
Yeah,
it's like that's one of those things. I mean,
now
that's not a great memory, but it's one of those things that you wish you could do now that you work 40, 50 hours a week, and you.
Like I always think about like college, because like I met my wife. Our first date was in the beginning of fall, so like. That whole first date, honeymoon, lovers area is just all autumn, and it's both our favorite seasons.
Yeah.
And I like just hanging out outside in fall. And
well, yeah, because it's nice and it's not super hot.
Yeah, and I think when we get back to the JRPG thing again, we'll bring it full circle before we move on to our next topic. I think since JRPGs focus so much on nature, the idea of Gaia and the Earth Spirit and all this stuff, and even in Secret of Mana, the giant tree is a huge focal point. Like they're very nature-centered, nature-centric. And I think fall just brings that out in people. You just think about nature so much more in fall.
Yeah.
Because, you're coming out of summer, you're coming off your hay fever, the leaves are changing colors.
And then you've got all these, like, you have the traditional harvests of everything.
Like way back from, like, freaking
forever
Roman
ago.
Times, celebrating the harvest. At night, it gets chilly and brisk. And, in my neighborhood, I don't know about your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, where I live is older than where Dave's lives. That's the short end of that story. And they have a lot more fireplaces. So when I get out of my car at night in fall, I just smell fireplace. I smell musty burning wood. And like the smell of, like from pretty much the middle of October to the middle of November, the smell of burning leaves is just constant in my neighborhood. Because someone is always like,
raking their leaves and then setting them on fire.
Yeah.
Which is probably not the best thing, but whatever.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Well, no, I mean like from a safety standpoint.
Oh no, from a safety standpoint,
it's a bad idea.
The good news is that the falls in Kansas City are usually pretty wet.
Yeah, so everything's usually damp, and it's really hard to get those leaves burning.
Yeah, like I usually like get a really good fire going and then just start raking wet leaves on top of it and just like cover my mouth from all the smoke.
Yeah.
So the other game that we talked about that is fall centric and it's coming out. Well, actually, it's out.
It came out last week.
Neither of us got it.
No.
I always wait to get GTAs because Grand Theft Auto is super important as a series.
Yes.
But it's one of those titles where a bunch of people buy it on day one, and then it shows up in used bookshops and vintage stock and GameStops in mass before Christmas.
Yeah, I mean it's
people are just like, oh, I'm tired and done with it. I'm going to turn it in.
And you know, I've heard a lot of people are getting kind of burned out on it real quick because there is a lot of.
They just want to do everything.
They want to do everything, and they do
There's
everything.
a lot of build up into the. Yeah. That's why I kind of like I tackle GTA in my own time. Like that's how I've always done it.
A couple hours at a time. You don't sit and you play the game and you just power through the story because
I'll stop playing halfway through the story and come back and just routinely just get in chases and then be like, oh yeah, I'll just start doing a mission story and I kind of pick it up again.
Yeah. You play it like you would pretty much anything else. You take a break from doing the main story stuff, do a bunch of side questy stuff.
I play it. I would say I play it kind of like an arcade game.
Yeah.
Where I'm in a GTA mood tonight. I'll show up. I'll do something to get the cops to chase me. That's always my favorite thing is outrun the cops. And maybe I'll do a story mission. I probably won't.
Yeah.
But usually when I get back into those story missions, that's when I start playing it more regularly and I come back to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fighter. Like you play it like once in a blue moon, but like occasionally you'll just get the bug and you'll just
I want to just jack a car and drive around on the sidewalk. And that's pretty much how I feel about GTA. That's part of why I bought Vice City for like $3 or whatever it was.
Vice City is the best one.
Yeah,
I'm still going back to it.
It's got one of the best soundtracks.
There's a big line in the sand between San Andreas and Vice City, and going back to it, I just continually love Vice City. Maybe it's because I played it more because it had the portable version.
Yeah,
Vice City stories, but I continually enjoy it.
Yeah, and I've
also like Chinatown Wars, which is always overlooked.
Well, that was only like what, tablet?
No, it was on DS, and then it was on PSP, and then it was on tablet.
Okay.
Or maybe it was DS, tablet, PSP. But
I remember Chinatown.
It's very good, and you should totally check it out. I wish they would remake it for the Vita.
Yeah, I mean, my first experience with GTA was GTA 3, right? That was the first one I played.
Okay, so my first experience with GTA would be GTA 1.
So the top-down.
The top-down crazy one. The 2 was a little bit more serious, but 1 was kind of crazy. And I remember I got it. I don't know if I got it on a shareware version. I remember definitely getting it at a computer show and playing it for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And then moving on and not thinking anything of it. And then GTA 3 came out and everyone loved it, but I didn't have a PS2 at the time. Then when I was in college, someone let me have their copy of it for the PC. Mm-hmm. That's when I played it the hell out of it.
And it was, for me, it was one of those first games where it's like, wow, this is a big, huge open world. Yeah. Like you just have to do the tutorial stuff, right? Like you have to go through the whole, this is how you take a car. This is, you go here to buy your guns. You go here to, get your car painted a different color.
I liked how GTA 3 did that.
Yeah.
And I think Rockstar always does a really good job of tutorializing things within the story and making it interesting.
Well, because usually your guy is a new guy in town and he's just so happens to be hooked up with some sort of mob. Like in 4, it's the Russian mob. In 3, it's the Italian mob.
Which is the cool thing about Liberty City Stories we were going to talk about is so 3 and Liberty City Stories are based on the same map. And Liberty City Stories is like I don't know if chronologically it's the first one, but it is the story of how one of the mob bosses in GTA 3 becomes a mob boss.
Huh.
So I kind of always like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I driving around just the little chunk that you start in, it's like, man, I kind of remember all these places from forever ago when I played GTA 3.
That first area, that I can probably drive through with my eyes shut.
Because it's just, where your safe house is. You know where the mission pickup place is, next to the docks and things like that. And it's, it's just one of those games where you've played it before and but you can always have a different experience with how you execute the missions or things like that. You can, I'm going to take a different path this way to see if maybe I can get more cops to chase me,
The one thing I didn't like about 3 was that you were a silent protagonist.
Yeah, your guy didn't have a voice in the first one.
So it was kind of always bugged me. And then I was playing 3 right as Vice City came out, and I got my PS2 right as Vice City came out. So I went and got Vice City.
And Vice City, your guy has an attitude and he talks.
And it's Ray Liotta just knocks it out of the park, and it was fun and stupid. That's why I like the portable version even more, because like Phil Collins is in it.
Yeah.
I think he's in the portable version. I get them all confused. It's been a while. But the portable version is like you're the brother of one of the dudes in Vice City who's a mob boss. So you kind of have to deal with him becoming a mob boss and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a dork. It was just kind of funny. You kind of set him up, make him look cool at times.
Yeah. I mean, and you're just playing those games. And even if you are just driving around, you're stopping at all the stoplights, you're not running pedestrians over. Just listening to the radio in that game is fun.
The talk radio
is always the best in these games, because they're talking about the dumbest crap. And they're taking it to the furthest extreme.
And I like the problem with Vice City. The problem with all the GTAs is the only game where I'll like jump in a car, stop,
and just change the radio station,
and then start driving.
Or like when you switch it to the metal station.
The best
you just
one
start
is
doing
in
some
Vice
crazy
City.
stuff.
There's a mission where you have to run roadblocks, and I was doing it right as that 80s that Take My Broken Wings and Make Them Fly Again song was on, and it's like really sappy, but it's like take these broken wings. And I'm just like careening through like cop roadblocks. I was just having a blast.
And then that was one of the best things with Vice City specifically, was it was one of the first ones that actually had licensed music in it, correct?
Well, I think it like licensed, like I think
some of the
GTA
music.
3 had licensed music, but it wasn't like popular licensed music. Like they went and found bands.
They had like little indie bands, but like it was one of the first ones
like that Joyride song. I still hear it like, let's go for a joyride.
Yeah. It was you're sitting there and you're listening to 80s era music and an 80s style Miami.
Yeah, what was the best thing? The best thing about GTA Vice City is that it was the first game I remember that like transported you to a spot in time in the same way that like Final Fantasy transports you to another world.
Yeah.
Like it was so complete, and you could like it was basically Miami Vice. Like not the new one, the TV show. But basically Miami Vice, and it was just like there's that spot where I was like, I'm riding on one of the speedboats, going through the waves.
Yeah.
And
the
what
boats
song
in the
was
game.
it? Oh, what song was it?
In the 80s?
I want to say it was that Sister Christian song, but it might not have been. But it was just like going through there. I remember you see the sparkles in the blue water. Like I love that effect, and it's like all this stuff just comes together, and like my characters in this like total like Don Johnson.
Yeah, white Miami Vice.
White Miami Vice with the pink huge collar, and I was just like, they just knocked this out of the park.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things that at least the big GTAs, maybe not so much the portable ones, but
the portable ones do.
The portable ones are pretty good too. But like you go to these, you play one of these games, and it's like,
it was that Phil Collins song. I could hear it in the air tonight. Like I kept thinking about it. I was like, I remember because I was sitting in my dorm room during college and was probably supposed to be studying, and it was like that.
I'm playing GTA Vice City. One of the things about GTA was, they go to these cities. They make up these cities, but you can tell they're based on actual cities.
Yeah, like Liberty City is totally New York.
New York, and Vice City is like Miami, and Los Santos is Los Angeles.
Like all of California now.
Let's
talk about San Andreas, because I wanted to say, like, in terms of transporting you to that time and place of Miami Vice, even more so, like San Andreas
was what, late 90s
LA? Early 90s LA, and like Dr. Dre and all this stuff, and California Love with Tupac, and it was just, maybe it was because I was more cognizant that time was happening around me in pop culture, that I liked it more. But all the stuff in San Andreas was just so crazy and taken to the umpteenth level.
Yeah.
And it was just like, my dude has a giant pink afro and he's totally ripped, but he's wearing hot pants while he rides this freaking dirt
motorcycle.
Not even a dirt, the BMX bicycle down the side of a mountain, and he's just jamming out to California Love.
Because
and it was just like, I was like, this is great. Like, you guys did a wonderful effing job of this.
Yeah, and I have never played. Yes, I know. I never played that GTA. Never played San Andreas. But I've always
missing out. 100%.
Well, you know what? If I can find it for cheap, I'll probably pick it up.
I imagine you could probably find it in a vintage stock or something now for a couple dollars.
Yeah, I might check it out today. I got time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just stuff about GTA and its satirical look at American life in those different decades and in those different regions
Yeah,
of the
well,
US.
I think the satire stuff didn't really come to the fore until GTA 4.
Well, I mean,
because in the other eras, they're making fun of Miami Vice, or
Yeah.
they're making fun of. Oh no, I can't think of the movie. Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. Okay.
Boys in the Hood.
Well, and they've always used like movies as kind of the
Menace to Society.
backdrops for
Yeah.
these kinds
So
of
they're
things.
making fun of that stuff. They're making fun of that stuff. They're making fun of that stuff. But in GTA 4, it was like they're making fun of now.
Yeah.
And I think everyone that talks about GTA 5, they're like, it's even better.
I've heard that they make the same jokes, but they have made those jokes better.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Well, I heard they're making fun of the Tea Party. They're making fun of like green energy hippies. They're making fun of everything. Which the Tea Party wasn't around when, it was in its formative stages when GTA 4 came out, but obviously they couldn't.
It wasn't really a big thing,
But it's actually kind of funny how, going back and playing GTA 4, because I still play it, I don't think I've ever
beat it.
I've gotten very far in it.
You've gotten pretty far.
I don't think
you
I've
got
ever
further
beaten-
than I did because I got
was
to the
it.
first tail this guy. Like you have to chase this guy out of the building and then follow him, and I could never finish that mission. I'm like, well,
that's really early.
I know. Well, because the driving in that game is kind of squirrely, like more so than you think.
The driving in all GTA games is
But that's
super
part
squirrely.
of that's part of the other thing. Is like it's supposed to be. You're
Like,
not
that's kinda
supposed to
why I like
have. It's
Saints-
not a.
Yeah, that's kind of like Saints Row and Sleeping Dogs. Like your car is magnetized to the road; it is very easy to drive.
Yeah.
Whereas in GTA, it's like the road is made of butter, and your tires are made of smooth glass. Enjoy.
Yeah, and it's not like I expect them to give me a Gran Turismo experience when I'm playing GTA. I mean, you're stealing cars, doing
It's Grand
drive-bys,
Theft
things
Auto,
like
not
that.
Gran Turismo. Bam.
Okay.
Anyway, like I remember GTA 4, like the first time you get in the car, you have to drive Roman to the taxi place, which is super close. I wrecked the car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
And
bam!
that was one of the other things. Like when I was playing on the Vita, the guy's like, "What are you doing? How are you driving like this bad?"
Yeah. But the cool thing about GTA 4 is even though the Tea Party wasn't around then, they still managed, when you listen to the talk radio, they still managed to make fun of it.
Yeah, they managed to make fun of a lot of things
they
on talk
almost
radio in that
knew-
game.
They almost were before the curve on that one. Like
Yeah.
they knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
I think
and
GTA 4 is the first one that has like a story that's meaningful.
yeah, and one of the things I would
Kind of like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to do this, and I think this would be awesome if they did. Is with GTA 5, and because we know that next gen is going to have 6 in like 8 years or 5 years or something like that. I want them to.
I hope the next Red Dead comes out before that, though.
Yeah, it probably will. I want them to add stuff to the radio stations and be like, as part of a DLC pack or something like that.
Continually update the radio
Yeah.
stations.
So like they take something from 6 months ago and then you're driving around and you hear them make fun of it in some way, shape, or form. And this game has been out for a year and a half or something like that. And that'd be really, really awesome.
The radio stations go a long way to like building the world and making GTA what it is. And I think the other thing that makes GTA super important, outside of the fact that it's just this huge open world game where we didn't have those before, and it has this huge, the world makes sense, it's all this stuff, is the controversy around GTA.
Oh yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's a crime simulator.
Yeah.
And the new one specifically kind of is because it teaches you to case a building and to
do heists. And
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
which
It's like, okay, you
we've
got
always
to.
talked about like heists is my favorite thing, and
That's why Payday was mildly popular, is because it's a
doing a
co-op
heist.
game, which kind of hurts it in its own right because you have to work together with people on the internet.
like Kane and Lynch 1, like the only reason I liked that game is you were doing heists.
Yeah.
And it was very poorly because it was Kane and Lynch. But,
Yeah.
But like the controversy around it, like people like Adam Sessler said, like no one cares about women of the night, prostitutes, and their well-being as much as they do when a GTA comes out.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, that's the game where you kill prostitutes. It's like, no. The cool thing about the game is it's a game where you can.
But you don't necessarily
it
have
doesn't tell you to. It doesn't show you how to do it. It doesn't do anything other than like, here's the tools. Here's how you kill people. Here's how you get prostitutes. You can do whatever you want. And it's kind of the cool thing about all those GTA games, and even to a lesser Red Dead Redemption, is the moment where everything, all the systems that are working at different times to do different things, when they all click in that very special way for you. Like I remember, like I said, Vice City, I'm in the boat, the Phil Collins song is on, it's night, the sun has set, the moon is coming up over the ocean, and I am bouncing in the waves, and like it clicks. Or like I said in San Andreas, driving down that mountain with my BMX bike with a giant pink afro.
Yeah.
GTA 4, the moment where it clicked for me in GTA 4 was the mission where you have to drive into like the compound area that they're making. They're building this building. You drive in, and I drove in, power slid, shot a couple guys, rolled out of the car to cover, got behind cover, and started going through like tactically with tactics. Like that's the moment it clicked. And I think that's the key thing in GTA that makes it so much better than something like San Andreas. I mean, not San Andreas. Saints Row.
Yeah.
Or Sleeping Dogs or all this other stuff. Is that those games, because they're imitating all of this, they're missing that last cog in the machine where it all clicks and it's like, oh, genius.
Yeah, and Rockstar has always done a really, really good game. I've played a lot of Rockstar's games throughout the years. I've not played Red Dead just specifically because I'm not that into the Midwest theme, or not the Midwest, the Wild West theme of the game. But I hear it is really good.
Red Dead did a good job with its, I think probably the best job that Rockstar has ever done with a story. Like GTA 4 had a really good story.
But it was so open and big that you could do whatever.
But it just had a really, like, it had good, you would say good, but like Red Dead had an excellent story.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, what was that? L.A. Noire was really good too. You know, just with the face capture thing, it looked a little weird at times, but when it worked well.
Max Payne 3, we didn't talk about it. I haven't played it all the way through, but that's another game where like the music and everything clicks in a way, and they're telling an interesting story with interesting things, and you're like, click.
Yeah.
And Rockstar, I think, is really good at just like holding a game back until they find what that special cog gear is that will make it click.
Yeah, and you know, there are very few game development companies that do that. You know, shortlist would be something like a Blizzard and Rockstar and Irrational Games.
Rockstar.
And, you know, things like that.
The core Square team, I would say.
Yeah. That's a different story.
The Squeenix team.
Squeenix.
That was funny. Did you see my tweet the other? Well, we'll wrap this up. But did you see my tweet the other day about
how Final Fantasy 15 is nothing like any of the other ones?
Tetsuya Nomura said Final Fantasy 15 is definitely a Final Fantasy. And my response is, guy who ruined Final Fantasy says new Final Fantasy that looks nothing like Final Fantasy is still a Final Fantasy.
It's like, wow, that sounds like Final Fantasy 13.
Like, don't get me wrong. I really like. I mean, personally, if you asked me, if you held a gun to my head, I would say I like Amano's character art a lot better. But Tetsuya Nomura does really good character art. But the problem is, like, it's so Tetsuya Nomura-ish that it just gets in the way of the game. And I'm looking forward to Lightning Returns, so don't trust my opinion.
Because I want to see Lightning in a Cloud uniform or in the Unidress, and like, because that seems like that's the big thing, or that's one of the things that everybody's talking about is you can dress Lightning up as all the Final Fantasy characters from every other Final Fantasy game.
Because that's how she changes classes, and that's how she does different things. But the thing that got me hyped for it is they were like, okay, this game is Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, which is an excellent game. It's probably the best thing that came out of that.
Is that Final Fantasy? That's the PSP one, right?
Yeah, that Final Fantasy VII, what do they call it? Collection or whatever it is?
The offshoot.
Yeah, which had
setup.
the vampire guy game, and it had the Advent Children movie.
Vincent,
yeah. But the best thing is Crisis Core. And they were like, it's the battle system from Crisis Core with this other thing added into it. And it's the job system basically. And I was like, okay, you just said a battle system that I liked plus the game system that I've liked the most from all of Final Fantasy together in one game. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. But that's not GTA. But what is GTA is GTA, and what is Autumn is Autumn. So to wrap it up, the thing I'm looking forward to most playing as this season goes on, and once I get out of Secret of Mana, I'm looking forward to playing Dragon Fantasy Book 2, taking the wrapping off that Final Fantasy 13 2 Collector's Edition and playing it.
Oh, that one that you bought a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, because I've only heard good things about it. And I'm probably going to, I'm really crossing my fingers that Vice City Stories comes out on the PS Plus, because I want to play it. But I'll probably end up downloading the GTA Liberty City Stories. Oh, because I haven't played it.
Well, Vice...
I went straight to when I got my PSP. I waited until Vice City Stories came out because I knew I was like, well, I like Vice City more than I like GTA 3.
Yeah, so. It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've only played a couple hours of it, but I've enjoyed that couple of hours I've played of Liberty City Stories. So. Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to as the season tears on?
I mean,
before we say goodbye.
I know. A lot of people are saying they want to play the new Assassin's Creed, and I really kind of do. I reinstalled 3 on my PC, and I've been playing.
Did you ever get You got Liberation?
Yeah, I have Liberation on my
Did you play through it?
I played through the majority of it.
Okay. I'm stuck in the Mayan ruins.
I think I got past that one.
Okay.
Unless you go back there. Do you go back there?
No, I got stuck in it, and I haven't played it since.
I got past that, and I'm stuck on one where you have to like jump you have to go to a fort, and then you have to like escort them out, and it's really hard to duck.
Oh, I've already done that one.
I don't know. It's just.
So I guess you do go back to the Mayan ruins.
I guess I don't know. But I kind of want to see what they do with, a primarily pirate ship driven Assassin's Creed.
Yo ho ho.
What I played of that in 3, with the whole ship stuff, the 2 or 3 missions that you have to do, I didn't really like. Like, I don't know, maybe it was just me, and maybe it's
So you're looking forward to a game that's built on a game mechanic that you don't like?
I've already pre-ordered the game, so why not?
Why do you pre-order? Why?
Because I got a poster. I'm weak. I got a poster.
Oh, you got a poster.
I got a poster.
How old are you?
Shut up. And that's why I'm playing Assassin's Creed 3 again. See if maybe there was something I missed about
magic
the way the
that
pirate
you walked past.
You were talking about how this thing clicks.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Assassin's Creed games. I've never had that click moment. I had it a lot with very close to it with the Liberation and being in different guises and sneaking into different places, but they never use it. Well, part of the game I've played, they haven't used it to its full extent.
You feel like you're always you miss some aspect of the standard kit.
So that's one of the things we'll say. I would put GTA, Mario, Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy, Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted in this kind of rarefied air of the click moment happens quickly.
Yeah. Once you play it for like an hour or two, you kind of figure out this is how this game is played. This is what you do with this game.
And the click moment happens. Like Final Fantasy is still to this day, even with 13 and its long tunnel of game, was very good at like grabbing me and saying, "You want to keep playing this game."
Yeah. I got further on my second playthrough than I did on my first.
Was the first one was on the Xbox or the second one?
First one was on the PS1 or 3, and I think I got like 3 hours in. The second one, I played it to the point where Zaz gets his summon.
Okay, I would say that Final Fantasy 13 is the longest of all the Final Fantasies to the click moment.
Yeah.
But
yeah. When you're 12 or 15 hours into a game and you still haven't hit it, you're talking
to a guy that sunk 60 hours in that game.
Yeah. I mean, I've played a lot of games for a lot longer than that and still not hit
Elder
them.
Scrolls does a good job of having that click moment of like, I remember Skyrim rolling across that plane and seeing the dragon come down.
So,
or Daggerfall, the first time you get to open the map and it says, go wherever you want. And you're like,
That's a map? So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of really, really great games out there. There's a lot of really great games that you will get immediately, or you will get very quickly after just playing with the systems a little bit. So,
well, in the comments down below, we'd like you to give us some feedback on your favorite games of fall, or maybe your favorite GTA memory, or maybe tell me I'm full of shit about Tetsuya Nomura and Amano doesn't know what he's doing, and tell me all these bad things. Let us know. But please comment. We always like when you comment.
Yeah.
Also, subscribe to the channel. We're supposed to tell you to subscribe to the channel and like and share. So please do that.
Pass us around. Wait.
We'll see you next week. Don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon.